Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at Marvel Masterworks The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 8 today. Classic Spidey goodness by Stan the Man Lee and John Ring-a-Ding Romita. This volume collects The Amazing Spider-Man issues 68 to 77 during the year 1969. Given the time frame, there are some topical subjects in the story such as race relations and student protests. Stan walks the line of being an objective observer while getting a little overzealous at times. You get the sense that the tone of the strip was getting a bit more serious at this point. Comics all across the board were getting a bit more serious at that time, but this sort of set the stage for Gwen Stacy's death a few years hence. Peter's still with Gwen at this point, but there really isn't a whole lot of focus given to them in these stories. We get introduced to Robbie Robertson's son Randy for the first time, and Pete's pal Harry Osborn sports a Fu Manchu mustache. I wonder how long that lasted. The main villain in these issues is the Kingpin. The most prominent storyline deals with the famous Tablet of Time story arc. I remember first seeing this story on the Spider-Man 90s animated series. Still my favorite animated Spider-Man series. I really wish they'd release it on DVD. For some reason, Marvel seems to have problems releasing their past animated catalog. I don't know if it's a rights issue or something, but I digress. The animated version did stick very close to the script here, which they typically did. Fisk and ultimately Silvermane battle the Webhead for possession of the tablet. Dr. Connors is brought into the mix, which naturally leads to an appearance by the Lizard. The story culminates in a guest shot by the Human Torch, who looks to defeat the Lizard and becomes irritated with Spidey's apparent kid gloves approach to handling the Lizard, since only Peter knows his true identity as Dr. Connors. Jazzy Johnny is my favorite artist, and his artwork of the Lizard is a thing to behold. I hope a film version actually uses that design someday. During most of this, Spidey faces the Shocker in what I believe is his second appearance, Man Mountain Marco, and the guest starring Quicksilver, as he mistakenly tries to apprehend Spidey for the theft of the tablet. In the introduction by John Romita, he talks about how they didn't have the ending to the Tablet of Time story mapped out in advance, and so what they thought was going to be a simple little tale spiraled into an epic. John Buscema also filled in for some pages during this time, and Romita mentions how he had to approach Buscema to fill in for him for Spider-Man, something Buscema was supposedly loath to do. The book closes with a rare reprint of Marvel Superheroes number 14, a book that typically consisted of early Hulk reprints. It's explained that John Romita sprained his wrist before they could make the deadline. Eventually, he did make the deadline, and this story was relegated to backup status, not actually appearing in the actual Amazing Spider-Man title as originally intended. Still, it gave Stan a chance to gauge Ross Andrews' talents, resulting in him eventually getting the gig of drawing The Amazing Spider-Man from 1973 to 1978. The story is just a lightweight, self-contained bit of stuff. The Sorcerer uses his bad juju to mentally command Peter to come to New Orleans for the Mardi Gras. While there, Spidey faces the mighty, mentally controlled Synthetic Man. It kind of reminded me of Indiana Jones fighting the giant Thuggy in Temple of Doom. Ironically, Spidey is saved by an errant doorbell. I'm giving Marvel Masterworks The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 8 4.5 stars out of 5. This is Johnnie Torch reminding you yet again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.